people, Keisha Prince here. Today talking about jumping from the league to pros overseas part 2. So the last parts you haven't heard, I spoke about Romania, Italy, Spain and Germany, and now today I'm going to talk about the next couple of leagues that you could potentially jump from based on your talent and other things as well, that some leagues will be most likely accepting for you to go in and, you know, see if you can enter in that way. The next league I'm going to speak about is the Scottish League 1 and League 2, which is basically, if I'm not mistaken, third or fourth division. That's kind of like a national league, if I'm not mistaken, north, south, rhyming Premier level from when I've watched footage of players, you know, and if I can base it out. It's again not the best league, but again you're on a pro contract, and again you have ceiling to jump. If you're doing really well in Scotland, you can jump to the Championship and potentially have the Premier teams looking at you based on your, and again, age, etc. There's also Wales as well. You know, there's 3 teams in there that are very big on talented players who drop out from League 1, League 2, but I don't really put them in that category. But that's another option as well. Another league is the French League, which is not League 1 or League 2 where you see Mbappe and Messi and Lacazette and stuff. That league is very, very technical. I know people calling it the Farmers League, but I'm telling you that the talent pool in France is so high, and there's a lot of doors and gatekeepers in the French League which prevent some players moving behind the scenes that I know of, which I can't and I won't speak about. But people that in the game knows what I'm talking about the French League. But there is a bunch of talent in the French League, especially in the National 3, National 2 League, which is again third or fourth division, if I'm not mistaken, or 4 or 5. That's a level you can jump to, but it's so technically high. Those guys there are not only, you're seeing Sissoko's and Pogba's, you're seeing Pogba's frame may not have his ability, but is there close about having, you know, they're very good, or you know, that's why they're there. But you're seeing Kante's there on a regular. You're seeing a whole load of brothers that are strong physically and that can kick the ball very well. And that's why the French league, you know, it's not one that I'll say for a lot of players in England to go to, because you got to again be able to be physically tough to deal with a lot of things, but you need to be able to again have a foundation. I don't recommend a lot of players going there. If you have the talent, go, but it's not an easy league to step into. Let me just be honest with you. The next league is also Portuguese Liga 3. Anything below that you can forget about it. League 2 is basically second division below the Premier. League 2 and League 3 is an option, but realistically from a from a national league or non-league side, you can probably jump to a League of 3, third division in Portugal. But again, it's not going to be easy because those guys are technically sound, tactically on point, and most boys that goes there are from either different countries like Spain and Brazil. So you're competing with a lot of players that can go in that country and play. One of the big pros as well that you must have if you're going to go to these countries and play is learn the language. If you're going to go to Spain, make sure that you're going to learn the basics to a minimum. And as a black guy going over there, be prepared for racism. Be prepared for racism in most of these countries that I mentioned as well, because they're not easy. I've suffered racism all my life in every country. England particularly was my first toast. And Spain was, Australia's the worst one. That's why they didn't put them on a list. So there's a lot of things you got to just be aware of as a black person going over there, or other than Caucasian, because it is racist over there, especially for people that are black. I'm just being real. Okay, this is just the truth. The next one is the Dutch League. Step 5. The Dutch League is not easy. You may think, what, League 5? Listen, see this Dutch League here, those guys that don't make an Ajax, where do you think most of them go to? They drop down second division, third division, and then they push those guys down. So the fourth and fifth division is the base, but again you've got to be technically acute to play in those leagues. And I'm talking about if you're coming from a non-league between I think that step 3 and step 5, those leagues. Again, it must be a pro contract, accommodations in place, food, basics, but you got to have a technical foundation to go over there. You can't go over there thinking I'm just going to be a physical specimen and I'm going to go and dominate. It may get you through the door, but you're going to get caught out on them and a number of things. Next one as well, the Belgium league. So again, I think the 3rd, 4th division from non-league is respectable. If I'm just, not again putting an account to your ability and stuff, but I'm thinking just on a whole from the past dealings, 4th, 3rd division is realistic based on the type of manager and a club and a budget and stuff like that. Those league 3rd or 4th division in Belgium is the option. Again, very technical, because you've got players from other countries nearby that go there, and it's not your field, it's technical based. Like, you're going to go there and you got to know certain things. Positioning is so key. What to do off the ball, stuff that you don't get taught in non-league for most managers on the whole. They may talk to you about the shape of the team, but they don't teach you where to run in with the ball in possession. A lot of things like tactically that you should know when you hit a certain age. And I learned a lot of my footballing career when I was in Spain, because they were so foundationally set on tactical and technical ability. The last one is the Swedish 4th division. Everybody in England from when I was young wanted to go to Sweden, and it is a good league for players to go to, but it's one of those ones that you need to go to the right one, because you can get lost again like in non-league. Sweden is not an easy league that you can step into. Let me just be real with you. It's the talent pool in Sweden is high. You got people from all nations, everywhere, coming into Sweden, because it is a very open country to talent. So you gotta understand that if you're gonna go over there prepared for a dogfight, just be honest with you. Okay, so that's kind of my background on those countries that I mentioned for you to jump in. Europe, I can't vouch for the others because I don't deal with the others, but these are the ones I've dealt with and I can vouch for them. And you may ask, okay, how do I get myself over there? Well, number one, you need to have a highlight reel that's going to show yourself playing in stadiums. If you're playing in a park, I'm telling you now, they're not going to accept it. You've got to be playing in stadiums. The level's got to be good. So it's not about you playing, you're the best player and you're playing against other players looks rubbish as well, because then they're going to be like, what's this? Because furthermore, non-league is not really respected in other countries. There's no weight to non-league. When I speak to a Spanish team and I say to the guy, oh yeah, he's coming from step 4, they're thinking, okay, League 2. But I say, no. Step 4 National League. So that's like, so they'll say, oh what, so at 8th division? Like, yeah, and they're like, yeesh. There's no weight. There's no weight. Everyone will say, no, non-league is hard. Yeah, in England, but in overseas, they don't rate non-league like how we talk about over here. So you gotta have at least stadiums, so then you can say to them that, listen, I play at this level over here, FA Cup features, get into a team like playing in the FA Cup, FA Pass and stuff like that. Very important. And the last one is you need to have an agent that dealt with those countries. Don't pay him no fees. Make sure the agent's got a history. Don't pay him nothing up front. I repeat again. And number one of them, don't pay him nothing again, because a lot of players out of desperation for a contract will pay crazy money. I'm talking £700-800, £900. Now honestly, when I got my move to go to Spain, I did pay my agent at the time, or not my agent, but I paid a guy over there who's an agent, registered agent, and I paid them €200 so that he can accommodate me in his home whilst he takes me out to a club. That's what I paid for. So that's what I paid for me to get into Spain, because sometimes you got to do that, if I'm honest. But I'm talking about excessive prices, like paying £1,000 to £2,000. You got to make sure it's the club they're dealing with. A lot of these guys will show you letters from the club saying that they invited you, so you got to vet it out. So you need to go to a credible agent that can help you. There is a few that I do know. If you are interested, and I can recommend them to you, but that's between you and them. I can only lead you to the door, but you have to have, like I said, there's certain things in place. So let me know what your thoughts about this, and let's get going.